Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's MYGA.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to this week's MYGA. Glad to have you all here. It's always nice when you see the community turn up, show up en masse, the renter crowd. So, last week, first and foremost, actually, look, let's slow down. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's take a breather, all right? Just calm the fuck down, a lot of you. That's better, isn't it? How is everyone?
All right.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It's a bit wild out there this week. Does anyone else feel that? Is it always this fucking wild? Is it always the same? Or is it just me? Who's this cunt Schumann? That's what I want to know. Who is this fucking Schumann that's going around fucking creating all these vibrations? I'll tell you what, right? There's definitely something going on. I'm certain of that. I don't know what it is. Lisa says it's the planets. It very well could be, Lisa. Very well could be. I think we are very much beholden, whether we understand it or not, to planetary movement and what's going on up there. And so it's, for me, it's definitely seems like there's some stuff going on for sure. So we had a lovely little MYGA space last week. I don't know if you managed to join us when we talked about Alex Middleditch's Sovereignty Masterclass. And there's been a lot of people signed up, by the way, Alex has told me. He said a lot of people signed up, which is very nice to hear. And we did loosely discuss a study group where people could get together and support one another in trying to understand, I guess, or understand, as Alex would say, what this is all about. What is the Sovereignty Masterclass all about, and how we can take back more of our power from another area. And so incredibly valuable, and we're going to be picking up a little update on that weekly, just to see how people are getting on with it. But of course, it's only just happened, so we won't spend too much time with that right now. But for the study group, definitely, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I feel like it's such an esoteric subject. It would be good and handy for people to be able to lean on one another and perhaps ground some of that really heady information and see if that helps. I might even join in every now and again as well, because I find it all a little bit too much, to be honest. It's very, very a deep dive into quite a big subject. So this week's a big subject as well, right? Do you know what's funny, right? I tell you, my Friday nights used to go on till Sunday afternoon. But not anymore, there's none of that caper anymore. So now I find myself, like this Friday night, just gone, I found myself fasting from 2:00. And then I started doing shots of Epsom salts to open up my bile ducts and to get my system all moving, followed by a pretty rancid mixture juice of olive oil and grapefruit juice at 10:00, knocking that back and then laying down in bed and waiting for my liver stones to roll out of my body. So that was my Friday night. I mean, it's not as chaotic and thrilling as it used to be. But there was no hangover. Well, actually, that's not entirely true, because most of the morning you spend on the toilet discarding much of what is coming out of your body. And I actually had quite a sore bottom after spending so much time on the toilet, which is a part and parcel, I'll have you know, of doing liver flushes. So is anyone familiar with Andreas Moritz's liver flush protocol, the amazing liver and gallbladder flush? All right, so I'll give you a little bit of a spiel on it. But obviously my own interpretation, and you're welcome to make your own. And there's a lot of people out there who've got much more knowledge on the subject. However, I always speak from experience, right? And I think that was my 6th or 7th liver flush that I'd done yesterday, Friday. And yes, Epsom salts, food grade Epsom salts. They're a wonderful laxative, and they really, really do help in the process and protocol of the liver flush. So, like, what is the liver flush then, right? Well, what is it? It's based on healing protocols that were from the Ayurvedic practices, which, as far as I'm aware, go back like 3,000 years. And that was all about sort of taking care of our body and being able to cleanse and being able to understand what we need to be able to fight off disease. And now, do you know what happened during COVID, right? Do you know what happened? Most of us, if we hadn't already, most of us lost faith in doctors, in mainstream medicine. Now, like, for me, that's a wonderful, wonderful positive thing, right? Because these cunts, excuse my French, if it's your first time joining a MYGA session, you will find out that I'm fluent in French throughout the evening. These absolute fucking whores, big pharma whores, are nothing shy of drug peddlers. That's it. Yeah. That goes for 99% of the doctors in this world. There's a small percentage of them, a very small percentage of them, that are actually able to ask the questions that matter when it comes to someone's health. How are you feeling? How much exercise are you getting? What are you eating? Are you under any stress? Are you eating poor stuff? Are you taking this? Have you been vaccinated? So many questions that are never enter the minds of GPs, especially now. It's like it literally is. You can go and pick up heavy duty big pharma drugs at your fucking doctor's, at your GP surgery, as quick as you could go to an estate and buy crack cocaine. You know, and you're probably, don't quote me on this, but you'd probably be better off with the crack cocaine. Now, because of what happened during COVID, the great thing is, the wonderful thing, and I'm always a man of positivity, always a man of optimism, as you might know, is that it's a wonderful thing that's happened, isn't it? Because this has been going on since the Rockefeller and J.D. Morgans took over medical institutes across the world, and they got rid of holistic and naturopath medicines, and what they'd done was turn everything into big pharma, which was a byproduct of the oil industry. So it suited them fine, right? What's their wastage? Oh, do you know what? Don't waste that. Let's repackage it. Let's tell them all they need it, and we'll give them pharmaceuticals. And so that's how the pharmaceutical industry has been born. And now it's infiltrated everything. You can't even have a conversation with a GP now because they're absolutely riddled with such narrow indoctrination. They couldn't tell you fucking Dickens anymore, you know? You can walk in there and you can just say to them, yeah, I've got this cough, and they just go like, amoxicillin, some other fucking kind of antibiotic. Oh, I feel really down. Bosh, you're on antidepressants, even before you got your sentence out. For me personally, I have lost complete and utter faith in mainstream medicine. If I had a car accident and I was touch and go, or I was like bleeding from out of a limb that had been fucking cut off, then fair enough. I would like them to take me into hospital and do what the best they can to keep me alive. But anything else, and this should go for everyone. This should be across the board now. If you've got anything, even if it's a pre-existing health condition that you've gone through your life with, it's time to turn your back and say, ta-da, peddlers. Even if you've got something seriously wrong with you, because trust me, the thing that they do not want us to know is we can cure ourselves. We can heal ourselves. We are a walking, talking healing modality. I think we're going to get to the place where we actually don't need anything external to us. But currently, I feel like we still do, because we're not fully aligned and fully channeling source. I think once we do that, that self-healing ability that we've got innate in us, that's going to kick in. And on a cellular level, we are the fucking med bed that we've been reading about, that we've been waiting for. When are the med beds coming out? You are the fucking med bed. And the point of that is, right, is that currently we haven't able to access that, but that stuff's coming online massively, yeah? This is the antenna that we are. We are the conduit for source. And that is coming online big time. But in the meantime, we've got to understand that there's lots of different things available to us in our world that can cure us, that can really, really clean our bodies. So I'm not a doctor. You might have already worked that out for yourself, all right? But what I will tell you is for the last 10, 12 years of my life, I have taken an incredibly deep dive into my own health. I've done many different things, and from fasting to urine therapy to liver flushes to all different types of, I won't say supplements, but all different types of extracts, plant extracts and all different other types of oil extracts and nut extracts and stuff like that. And I feel that this is one of the parts, right, of the MYGA space, of the whole Free Folk project, the whole ethos is to inform, support and empower. And once we start doing that, once we all start looking and sharing our experiences and sharing the things that have worked for us and the things that haven't worked for us, we realise that we don't need anything from the mainstream world that we're so against. Because we know it's all falling apart. We know it's all rigged. We know it's a big fucking scam. It's all a big fucking racket. We know it's all trying to con us and kill us and fucking make us reliant on Big Pharma and the system. And one of the biggest things we can do to take back our power from that is our health. They can't have us if we're healthy. And you might already know this, right? But we live in an age of great fucking toxicity. Like, seriously, you know? And this is not me trying to scare anyone, because I genuinely believe that whatever they throw at us, we're only getting more resilient. But we're not going to get more resilient by sitting there going, we have to do something about it. We have to be proactive in our resilience. So this is when we become more informed, all right? And we support each other in garnering new information. And once we've done that, once we're able to do that, you watch how much more empowered you get. Now I think to myself, like, I would never listen to a doctor. I've actually got a friend of ours, right, who's a doctor, and he's one of the powerful, beautiful, amazing men out there who's a doctor. In fact, he actually gave his license back a little while ago because he didn't want to play the game anymore. But he's still obviously a doctor, and he's a homeopath as well, and he's an incredible man. He comes to me sometimes to ask me things about medicine, about holistic medicine, about the natural world. Like, there is no hierarchy in medicine anymore. We are our own fucking doctors. I said to my dad, me and my old man were talking about it a little while ago, and he said, Dan, like, when I grew up, the doctor was God. He said, like, anything the doctor said, you just done. That was it. He was held on such high regard. Whatever the doctor said, you just done. Exactly that. And now, because things have moved on and we're all becoming a lot more aware and a lot more information is available to us, we know that there's like simple cures for cancer. Cancer isn't something actually that is a disease. It's actually a byproduct of the body trying to heal itself. And so once we understand that, we go, oh, do you know what? All right, I can sit with this cancer. I'm not going to listen to that. You've got 3 months to live, Mr. Bedford, and that's it. And now I'm going, oh, fuck. And the psychosis and the self-fulfilling prophecy kick in. And because our brains create a hell of a lot of our reality for us, if you believe you've got cancer and you've only got 3 months to live, you're dead. How about we repackage that and we say, listen, what your body is trying to do, your body is trying to save you. Yeah, there is something about the way that you're living is causing a lot of toxicity in your body. And so there is things that you need to change. Like, could you have a look into your diet? Could you make sure that you're not having too much sugar? Like 9 times out of 10, we're all addicted to sugar. 9 times out of 10, we're all eating too much. 3 meals a day? Fuck me, we could have 3 meals a week and we'd be all right. All of it's a scam. The whole thing's an entire racket. They want us to become more ill. They want us to become more subservient. They want us to be disempowered. And they want us to spend all of our money on Big Pharma. And then in that Big Pharma ecosystem, We're just going round and round because one thing leads on to another, and you've done it yourself, right? You've read the side effects of even like simple medications. They're terrifying. So we've all got a responsibility now, not to each other, not to the world, but to ourselves first and foremost. This is the revolution, isn't it? Along with other little things that we can do, but our health is up there. So, I mean, I like I say, I've lost faith in all of it. I know there's cures for cancer. I know there's cures for everything. I know there is. And I think if anyone's on this call tonight and they're struggling with some kind of ailment or disease or illness, you've just got to know that you have got everything in your body to be able to support your own healing. And anything that you can't find within your own body, then nature provides. And again, like, this is not a case of like we're sitting there, and this is one of the things, right? This is why it's become, all of our conveniences have robbed us of our power. They've robbed us of our freedom. Because through convenience, we don't want to sit there and be like reading books and like, oh, like, what's wrong with me? And I'll try this fast and I'll try that fast. And I'm going to drink my own urine. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to try all these things. When it's much easier to go to your GP and he's just going to give you something to mask the symptoms. The ailment, the imbalance doesn't go away, but the symptoms are gone. So, hey, I'm cured. I don't think anyone in this room believes that. That's why we're all here, right? Because we finally got to the place where we're sort of like, right, I want to take responsibility for this life. I want to take responsibility for my vessel. And what a beautiful thing. That shouldn't be seen as being something to be scared of or something to make you feel worried. It should be seen as a wonderful, beautiful invitation of a divine relationship between you and your body. So, Andreas Moritz and his liver flush protocol. I found out about this a few years ago from a guy called MK who ran a channel called The Natural Health or something it was called on Telegram. And I'd done some podcast chats with him and stuff, and he's a very, very well-informed guy. And we had some conversations that led to me doing sort of tailor-made protocols, albeit ones that I now look back at and find that were very aggressive because they were also using things like ivermectin, which I don't think is necessary anymore, and fenbendazole, which I also don't think is necessary anymore. But I'm quite glad that I tried that, because then it allowed me to feel my body and be like, no, do you know what? This is actually something I don't need. So one of the things that jumped out to me though was Andreas Moritz's liver flush. Now, I don't know how much people know about like the function of the liver, but it's up there, right? There's the brain, there's the heart, there's the lungs, and the liver. Like they're like the big players in our makeup. And the liver has got such an incredible job of cleaning us. That's its primary thing that it does, is clean our blood. And then it creates our energy through the transmutation of different chemicals that enter our body. It is one of the most important apparatus that we've got in our body. And because now we're living in a world where we're being poisoned from above, our water's poisoned, our food's poisoned, we've got EMFs fucking coming out of our ears, where there is so much poison and toxicity around us in this modern day environment, our bodies, they are having to clean themselves even much more than they usually would. So to me, it just makes, like I've often spoke about this, right? I'm a man who sees things very logically. And so straight away, if I understand that the liver is such an important instrument in cleaning my body, and I know my body is saturated in modern day toxicity, then to me, it just makes sense that if I've got my liver firing on all cylinders, then that's a really, really good place for me. So I started looking into it, right? Now, these liver flushes, like the wonderful thing about him is, and this is why I think this guy, Andreas Moritz, who's no longer with us, right? He passed away a few years ago from, I believe, a very, very difficult illness that he had from birth, that he outlived expectations by like massively, absolutely massively. And the guy, like, he wrote something, I think it's like 24 books, and they're all, I haven't read them all, but they're all geared and directed towards people taking health autonomy. And the way that he's created, he's, like I say, it's been influenced and inspired by the Ayurvedic practices of 3,000 years ago. But he's modernized it, right? And it's accessible in the way that it costs you almost nothing. When I say nothing, I don't mean nothing like it's completely free. But just to give you an example of the protocol, right? So like once a month, you're supposed to do these liver flushes, yeah? Do you know what? I'm just going to stop there because I've just thought of something else that I think is equally important to mention. I've mentioned the physical parts of what the liver is, right? But it's also very, very well known in lots and lots of ancient teachings, especially in ancient Chinese medicine, that the liver is a place that we store anger and we store pain and we store a lot of our buried emotions. I made a little video on Instagram earlier. Some people might have seen it. Maybe people are not on there anymore. I don't know, but I'm going to repeat myself. And what I was saying, right, is that about 5 weeks ago, when I was preparing for my my last liver flush, I was having a lot of, like, when you're preparing for a liver flush, when you've sort of said to your liver, you're going, right, I'm going to clean you out, and your liver goes, all right, yeah, he's paying attention now, so now I'm going to let everything come out. I've got a safe place. I'm going to let it all come out. I'm going to express myself. So my liver started to express itself in the way that I was reliving or re-feeling a lot of stuff that happened to me in my childhood. And like many of us, I had a very challenging childhood. It was very, very colourful, and there was a lot of violence and a lot of fucked up stuff that went on. And so, as a child, many of us don't have the ability to articulate that or express that, and we don't have the environment, a safe environment, to be able to do that. So that stuff gets held in our body. Often it's called, you hear of it called the pain body. And we accumulate this stuff over a lifetime, and it gets stuck in us. And this is where illness really comes from, you know? Of course, like, if you sit there and you injecting fucking McDonald's into your head every day, that's not going to do you any good either. But a lot of the time, we are the imbalance, the walking imbalance of a lack of freedom of expression when it comes to our emotional field and how that gets buried within our bodies. And then it manifests itself very often as what we call diseases today, or illnesses. I believe personally, many of our modern day afflictions are a result of what's happened to us in our childhood. I'm not saying that like everything is, because I don't know, and it's like every situation is independent and unique to itself. But I can definitely vouch for myself, and my experience is that a lot of the stuff that I've carried with me has affected me in certain ways. And so I was going through a little bit of a revisit of a lot of stuff that was coming to the surface. And one night when Hannah was getting the kids to sleep, and I was on the sofa, and it just overwhelmed me. It was almost like I was in an ayahuasca ceremony. Like, I don't know if anyone's familiar with ayahuasca, but it's a plant medicine that is able to strip you of any of your inhibitions, and it allows a really, really direct connection to a lot of buried and suppressed pain. And I was in this sort of bubble on my own, holding myself, and I was sobbing. I was absolutely breaking my heart for a lot of this very, very visual stuff, because I'm quite a visual man. Especially when I've got my eyes closed, I'm able to see things in almost cinematically. And a lot of this stuff was coming to the surface, really, really having to revisit it. And I haven't cried like that in a very, very long time. And I probably felt I was probably crying for somewhere around like 40 minutes or something along those lines. And then afterwards, I had this sort of like calmness come over me, which normally happens after you've gone through such a purge. And I got into bed and I sort of slowed my breathing down. I was laying there and I felt something physically move in my liver region. I don't know what I do know what it was because I'd done the flush afterwards, but I felt that movement happen then. And then I knew I had to do the liver flush two or 3 days later, and I knew that there was going to be something enormous that came out of me, an enormous stone. Right, now, I don't want to sicken anyone out. Like, that's not my intention, but I'm going to share this picture with you, okay? Is anyone eating? Where is it? Where is it? There it is, right there. Can I not get that to open? Video, it's not a video file, is it? Slides as a background portion of screen. Right, are you able to see that? Can you see that? Yeah. So look, that there's two of them. These are the two big bastards, right? Yeah, yeah. Now that's a €1 coin. That's the size of a fucking chicken nugget, right? Now I am certain, absolutely certain that was a release of heavily suppressed emotions from when I was a little boy. And if you think about it, right, like what is that like that anger, when you feel that anger and that pain and stuff like, and it's buried, it feels like it compacts, doesn't it? It gets like stuck like a stone, and that's what it is. And I have to be honest with you, like I have felt so much lighter and freer, so much more happy, so much calmer, less angry. Still got my passion, don't worry about that. But less of that anger, you know? So we spoke previously about the physical power of a liver flush, but on an emotional level, I think it's even more powerful. And so I done this flush, and I felt something leave me that day. And then since then, I've had, this is going to sound really fucking crazy, but I've had really, really beautiful memories of my childhood come back to me. And I almost feel, because when we're talking about what we really are is a multi-dimensional being, we can repair the past now. You know? And again, I know that sounds far out, but a lot of the time they want all of that stuff to be diminished. And it's not possible, because then we don't realise what we truly are. And what we truly are, as I just said, is a multi-dimensional being that is not restricted to time and space. And so I truly feel that this is, look, and again, you have to go through it, right? It's not a case of like you do the liver flush and you're not connected with what's going on and it has the same effect. I don't know. But I know for myself is that there is absolutely a correlation between what has been buried in me emotionally, sadness, grief, suffering, guilt, regret, all of that heavy stuff, and it's starting to come out. And to me, that's like, that's a revolution in itself. So just to go back to Andreas Moritz, right? So the idea is every month you should do a liver flush, right? And this is the thing, very much like we spoke about last week with the Sovereignty Masterclass. It's not something, if you're going to do it, yeah, and I liked what Alex said last week when he was speaking on his video, when he said, like, if you're gonna say you're gonna do something, then fucking do it. All right. We've got to one of the things we have to do now is we've got to start seeing things through. The age of procrastination and the age of loose ends, it's over. If something is really meaningful for you in such a way that you decided to start it up and you're going to see it through, then do it. Finish it. And it's very similar with the liver flushes. There are quite serious complications from the liver flushes if you just do one. And like, this is me in a nutshell, right? and this again, me speaking from experience, I put my hands up. I very much, because the way my mind works so quickly, a lot of the time I scan over things and I'm like, yeah, that'll do. I get it. I feel it. It's okay. Yeah, that's it. So I done my first liver flush about 2 years ago and then didn't do another one for almost 18 months. And I was walking around with a really weird feeling in my liver. And I was like, that's fucking strange. Like, what's all that about? Turns out what's happened once you do a liver flush and you bring all of those stones, because what they are, right, they're gallstones, yeah? And if you've ever had a gallbladder attack, what it is that your gallbladder is not able to function properly. It's not able to produce bile. And the bile, like the bile in our body, has got such an important task. It's helping breaking down our food. It's helping breaking down chemicals. It's actually transmuting and changing a lot of the chemicals into stuff that our body can assimilate. Lots and lots of people's gallbladders are full of gallstones. But what they don't tell you is that it's actually your liver as well has got the same stones in it. So these stones are in us, right? And if we start doing liver flushes and we don't see it through until the liver is completely clean, what happens is a lot of these stones, they move. So once like, let's say like the front part of the liver is packed full of these stones and it releases those stones, then the ones that are in the next spot, they move up for release. So all this like stuff is going on within our livers. And if we don't see it through, a lot of them can get blocked. A lot of which would then, it would mean that our bile ducts are blocked, which again is going to exasperate and amplify disease. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to take it on, it's something you do. I mean, the average person, Andreas Moritz says the average person will need something between 12 to 15 liver flushes. So that's like a year, maybe more of your life, depending on who you are. I think I've probably got 20 in me because of the way I've lived. And I'm not concerned about that. I'm just like, I just feel that that's the way I've not taken care of myself, especially in my 20s, when I've done a fair share of the world's drugs and alcohol. I would imagine that I'm going to need to put a little bit of work in. So the wonderful thing about it is, like I said earlier, is it's very accessible. Yeah, it's very yeah, Annie says to go into cleanses pretty gently, but it is gentle. That's the thing, right? It is very gentle. And once you, I would just say to everyone, right? Everyone read the book, yeah. Right? We can put links to the book, can share the book. Once we put this out on YouTube, just so you know, our MYGA recordings will be going on YouTube intermittently in the next few days, and probably this one in a week or 10 days. And we'll put the links into what we've been discussing here. The book is something you need to read. You know, I would read it in a way that you're being very, very cautious about it, because you're what we're doing with liver flushes is we're undertaking an incredibly invasive surgery without the surgery. It's like literally what they do is they cut people open, take gallbladders out and take stones out and stuff. Well, we're doing that without any of the surgery. So yeah, you have to go into it very, very gently and very, very kind to yourself and very patient. But in terms of how accessible it is, it's accessible to all of us, I would say, because it doesn't cost a lot of money. Your average liver flush, if you were to start off for liver flushes today, for example, you need to drink a litre of apple juice for 6 days. That apple juice is very, very high in malic acid, and so are other things, by the way. Like I think cherry juice is one of them, and there are other things that have got high levels of malic acid. So you can, if apple juice doesn't sit well with you, there's other things that you can look into. But every day for 6 days, you drink a litre of apple juice, and what that's doing is it's softening the stones in your liver and the gallbladder. And then comes day number 6, which is the day of the flush. So you can eat normally, you still do your apple juice, but you've got to cut off everything at 1:30 p.m. And then for the rest of the day, you're fasting solely on water. And then at 6 p.m., you take your first drink of Epsom salts. And what that does is not only does it act as a laxative, but it opens up the bile ducts in your gallbladder and in your liver. And you do 2 of those drinks. And then at 10 o'clock, you mix this, I think it's 120 millilitres of olive oil and 180 millilitres of a citric juice. We use grapefruit juice because I think that's probably the best one that he recommends. But you could also use orange juice or lemon juice. And of course, listen, it goes without saying, right? We're talking about good quality juice, yeah? Stuff that you can vouch for being as near as fucking organic or as natural as you can. This is your body we're talking about, right? And this is an incredibly powerful protocol that needs to be really sort of every area considered. So once you've done that, you take the Epsom salts and you've got this drink that you shake up in a jar, and you take that, and as soon as you take that, right, like straight away, as soon as you knock it back, you've got to go and lay down. You have to lay down flat as soon as you've drank it. And then the most fucked up thing happens is that you can physically, and I felt this on several occasions, you can physically feel stones like marbles rolling out of your liver. And I mean, that's a really strange, a very, very strange feeling, a very strange sensation to have. And then the next morning you get up and you drink some, we don't use homemade apple juice. We use whatever's available to us, but the best quality we can find. Some people near us, I'm just answering things in the chat because one of my eyes is looking at you. One of them's looking around there. We use the best apple juice we can find, or something that's organic. And then the next morning you wake up and you drink another shot of Epsom salts, and usually after 15 minutes or so, you really need to go to the toilet. And then what comes out of you is these stones that I just showed you, in all different sizes. Right now, I don't like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a fucking professor. I'm not a fucking someone who's worked with gallbladders and kidney stones or whatever else. But that picture, does that look like that needs to be in the body? That doesn't look like something that needs to be in our body, does it? So for me personally, no, you don't need someone with your DNA. I don't think so. You know, I think if you trust your body, I mean, of course, I've got Hannah laying next to me, but I've never, not once in 7 flushes, have I ever gone something bad's happened or I feel something. If you follow the protocol exactly, then there should be absolutely no issues whatsoever. All right. Can you go to work? Not the next day. That's the thing. This is why I say it's a gentle thing, right? Because I've done like MMS protocols. Has anyone done MMS, like the Master Mineral Supplement, which is a mixture of chlorine dioxide and something else, but it's like a incredibly strong protocol. And I mean, like after like day 1 or day 2, you are fucked. Like nauseous, like you can projectile vomit. It's a really, really strong protocol. It doesn't feel very gentle on the body, nor does the ivermectin, nor does the fenbendazole. You know, so that's why for me, I feel like I've really, really resonate with Andreas Moritz's work because it all seems like it's geared to the most natural, gentle way that we can take care of ourselves. And so all of that stuff starts coming out of you, right? And that day, like yesterday, I had no energy yesterday. I spent probably a good 20% of my morning on the toilet. And then all of a sudden, you know, it comes to sort of like 2 hours after you've drunk your last Epsom salts, and you can start drinking juice again, then you can start eating again, and everything's back to normal. And today I would just say I feel a little bit lack of energy today, but that could be lots of different reasons as well, not necessarily because I've done a liver flush yesterday. So I'm just gonna introduce you right quickly to Andreas Moritz, because there's like it's a 40-minute video, right? And I'm not going to expect everyone to watch all of it because I think that might be too much, but we can share the link to this as well. But I think what would be beneficial is just being introduced to him and just let him explain partially the first sort of 10 minutes or so of what he's talking about, you know, and you get a feel for the guy. Video file, does that work? No. Clips, documents. I wonder if I can just share it by my audio, because I can't figure out how to do this. Can everyone hear that, yeah?
Welcome. My name is Linda Tierney, and today I have with me Andreas Moritz. Andreas is the author of 4 books: The Amazing Liver Cleanse, It's Time to Wake Up, Freedom from Judgment, and The Key to Health and Rejuvenation. Andreas, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And today we're going to be focusing on mostly the book, The Amazing Liver Cleanse.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about your background?
I was born in Germany in 1954, and my life was very bumpy to begin with because I suffered major illnesses such as juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, and I fainted every couple of weeks, you know, in the middle of places like church or post offices. And I had chronic headaches, chronic constipation, severe gastrointestinal problems, and arrhythmia as a child. So I was suffering so much that I had to look for problems to these solutions to these problems quite from an early childhood stage onward.
So your interest in health was based
Yes.
upon a need, an own personal need.
Yes. Doctors couldn't help me, so traditional doctors failed to do anything about it. It never disappeared. In fact, it got worse. So gradually I had to dig up old books which I found in my mother's library, and she was always very interested in that.
At what age did you start your own search?
I started to look at these things from age 12.
Wow.
I studied the digestive system at age 12, and I was fascinated by that because it gave me so many clues about my problems. And once I started changing my diet, and some of the things I was doing to cause all those problems, they disappeared, and I gradually discovered ways to health which would be applicable to a lot of people as well.
Great. And now, could you tell us about the liver, the function of the liver, and the importance of cleansing the liver?
Yes, the liver is, of course, one of the major organs in the body, and it's the factory, the most important factory, which is not just producing enzymes for the digestive system, cleansing the blood, but it regulates basically the entire metabolism, distribution of energy throughout the body. If there's anything wrong in the body, you can always relate it back to the liver. And that's what I found in my research. I've been working in this field for 32 years, and I have not found a single terminal illness where people didn't have congestion, severe congestion in the liver bile ducts.
That's what amazed me when I read the book, is that so many diseases were related to the liver. Yes. I had no idea.
Yes. And that's something, of course, that I've learned over the course of many, many years, where people have been cleansing their livers, their bile ducts in particular. They found that these problems disappeared as they were continuing to cleanse their liver. And of course I emphasize other things as well, not just cleansing the liver, because if you eat foods which have a very congesting effect, then that can cause more congestion again in the liver, and of course in the other organs of elimination, such as the kidneys and the colon, foremost of all.
Mm-hmm. And you suggest colonics before and after the liver cleanse is very important.
Absolutely. because when you clean the liver, and I will show a couple of pictures later on if that's okay, there are so many stones coming out, and they pass, of course, through the gastrointestinal system. So they come out through the large intestine. And people who have unclean colons, they will, harbor some of these stones that come out, and they are held back, and that, of course, causes, some infection in some cases, or it can just make you feel unwell because these toxins, these bacteria are going around the system over and over, and that can cause some side effects.
And these stones that come out of the liver are very toxic, so when they get stuck in the colon, that's bad news.
Yes, you can tell that from smelling stones when they come out. Most of these stones, they float in the toilet. You can look at them, you can take them out if you like. The color is like this here, is, the green leaves, bright green color, and some of them are very, very dark. They can be black, they can have some are whitish beige, but whatever they are quite toxic, because when the liver is blocked, when these bile ducts are congested, then the liver is unable to remove its toxins properly, and the liver is the foremost detoxifying organ, and it filters the blood constantly. So every time you have some toxins retained in the liver, they attach themselves to the bile stones, to these bile clots or gallstones, and that, of course, is a great disadvantage, because the liver has to stop doing that work, and some of these toxins keep circulating throughout the body, and they get deposited in other areas, such as connective tissues, which the tissue making up every soft organs. Even the harder tissues like bone tissue. So you can have joint problems, you can have severe lymphatic congestion after that, and then you have water retention, and you put on weight. So most of the people who have excessive weight in the body, they have toxins deposited in various areas of the body, which means that in order to keep them neutral, at least for the time being, the body has to hold on to water. Water is a neutralizing agent. And so they hold on to a lot of extra weight, and they think it's fat, but it's only very little fat. Most of it is water or lymph congestion, lymph fluids.
So a person then, by cleansing their liver, could lose a lot of water weight then?
Absolutely, absolutely. When the liver is clean, it is very difficult to be overweight.
Oh,
it's
great.
very, very difficult, because metabolism is at its normal range. The digestive ability, which is controlled by the liver, is increasing. So the same food which might have caused you to gain weight before, after your liver is clean, will mean that you can actually get energy from that food rather than convert it into fat or waste products. And so your body is getting cleaner and cleaner, and it loses that waste and that water which is keeping these toxins neutral.
Great news for a lot of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's not just about losing weight, because many people say, I just want to lose weight so I look better. But having extra weight means the digestive system is not functioning properly, and that's the harbinger of major illnesses in the future. Most cancers, which I have studied and researched, they are related to problems in the digestive system. And I could go a little bit into that, into details of that, because it's such a common illness today. Cancer and heart disease, all those diseases which we commonly refer to, they are basically diseases of congestion, and liver plays the foremost role in that. Once the liver is congested, and all the other organs can start to get blocked up as well.
So it sounds like anyone with a disease could really benefit, or if they're overweight, they could really benefit from a liver cleanse. How about your person who's feeling very healthy? Could they also benefit from cleansing the liver?
Absolutely. There's always a need for more energy, better sleep, just feeling better about oneself, about one's emotional health, because what I found over the years, those who have cleansed their liver and they don't have any gallstones left in the bile ducts of their liver, they also don't get angry anymore. And that's a great, wonderful characteristic to have, to always be at peace with oneself and one's surroundings and other people. Because gallstones, they block the bile flow, and it is known in traditional medicine, even people saying you have a bileless nature. You're angry, the bile is overflowing, it can't actually leave the liver, it's trapped. And once something is trapped in the body, you feel trapped, and that's frustration. And the frustration builds up and it turns into anger. So there's a lot of emotional benefit from cleansing the liver.
Yes, and I have gone on 3 liver cleanses since I talked to you in January, and it is amazing. I also, being a colon hydrotherapist, I see a lot of people coming in getting colonics who have gone on this liver cleanse also, and a lot of us, well, myself and others, do experience some anger feelings. Yes. Right directly after the liver cleanse, and I just find that fascinating. In fact, one woman reported crying all afternoon, and it just seems to be very related to the emotions.
Yes, yes, emotions are not really stuck in the body as such. They're stuck in the blockages, like the gallstones in the liver, or kidney stones in the kidneys cause a lot of fear. So once you put people on kidney cleanses, which is another important thing to do in life, as you eat certain foods and you live in a polluted environment and you get stressed over things, after a while you start collecting these items in the body, and they are not really useful items. They don't belong in the body, and because they don't belong in the body, they're foreign, and the body gets afraid if you have blockages. The body is a circulatory mechanism, basically. It's a process. The body is not a fixed, frozen sculpture where you can take things out and put new things in without feeling the emotional drainage from that. So if people have fear in their lives, you can bet that their kidneys are not functioning that well. And when they clean them out, then fear can be released as well. And maybe they are releasing, being even afraid after a cleanse like that. But that doesn't happen too often.
And it's very short.
Yes,
it was just like a day of noticing some angry feelings coming up that were very unusual. It's like, I know this has got to be related.
All right, we'll leave it there, but we'll put that YouTube link into the in our YouTube bio for the video. I mean that's just to see what a couple of people have mentioned in the chats, right? For example, like one of the things it does recommend is doing colonic irrigation before, but the colonic irrigation is not something you have to do. You can also do enemas, like water enemas or coffee enemas. So when I say that this is accessible, you're talking about something that can change your life, on a very, very physical and an emotional level for the better, in a way that is to be able to manage a lot of the pollution in our world and a lot of the stuff that we've stored in our bodies. To do so, like if you buy an enema kit, I think they cost, I don't know, like 60 quid or something like that. So it is accessible, I would say, to most people, to be able to manage this. And just, what, I just pulled the book up a second ago, and if you see that there's a 2-page list of all of the different symptoms, right? I'm just going to read them out, right? Low appetite, food cravings, digestive disorders, diarrhea, constipation, clay-coloured stool, hernia, flatulence, hemorrhoids, dull pain on the right side, difficulty breathing, liver cirrhosis, hepatitis, most infections, high cholesterol, heart disease, brain disorders, nausea and vomiting, ulcers, a bilious or angry personality. We've got a right to be fucking angry in this day and age, haven't we? But still, like I said before, there's an element of our anger that is anger that is not, it's not something we can channel productively or positively, you know? Like if it's anger that's eating us up and it's in us, then again, that is another manifestation of disease a lot of the time. Depression, impotence, prostate diseases, urinary problems, hormonal imbalances, menstrual and menopausal disorders, problems with vision, puffy eyes, any skin disorders, liver spots, especially those on the back of the hands and facial area, dizziness and fainting spells, loss of muscle tone, excessive weight or wasting, strong shoulder and back pain, pain at the top of the shoulder, dark colour under the eyes, morbid complexion, gout, frozen shoulder, stiff neck, asthma, headaches and migraines, tooth and gum problems. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Sciatica, joint diseases, osteoporosis, obesity, chronic fatigue, kidney diseases, cancer, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's. I mean, even down to greasy hair and hair loss, difficulty sleeping, insomnia, nightmares, stiffness of joints and muscles, hot and cold flushes. I mean, like the list. And the thing is as well, right, is that it would take me hours and hours and hours to go through the book and explain like why these symptoms come up. But in the book, there is explanation to that. Why if the bile ducts are blocked and we're not getting enough bile in our body, how that affects the entire system. And he explains that on a very, very detailed and I would say quite simplistic way. You know, I'm not a scholar or an academic by any sense of the imagination, and I understand it pretty well. So, what Epsom salts do you recommend? Again, I'll just try and source the best ones you can, Dion, you know? Yeah, that'd probably be my take on it. So look, there's half an hour or so to go. Does anyone want to come up and have a conversation? Like anyone got an experience with liver flushes that they want to share, or B, any sort of like detailed questions that they'd like to ask that might benefit the community, or there is something you want a little bit more of explanation to, or you want to ask a question about my experiences that might help. If you do want to have a conversation, right, down on your screen, whatever device you're using, there's a little hand that's shaped like this. It doesn't mean Heil Hitler, all right? Don't be afraid of it. It just means that you would like to come and join the conversation.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
There's a little hand down in the bottom and it says raise hand. You should have that hand up so I can see. But if you, who just said that?
Gee's called Melvin.
Oh, I can see you. Right, I can get you up. I can get you up.
I can't see that, Geese.
All right, you're here. Welcome.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
how you
thank
doing?
you, Dan. Thank you for having me on board.
It's a pleasure,
yeah,
mate.
everything you said I've resonated with.
I'm glad.
Regarding problems with my liver and bile duct, as I've got a fatty liver, protected. Well, they reckon I've got gallstones. Every time I have scans, they're not there. Same old with the NHS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that's there ain't there, but it is there.
Yeah.
I think you understand what I mean in code. All right. So, yeah, I'm really interested in these liver flushes, really. So I'd really appreciate if you could speak a little bit more about that and that what the actual...
I mean, the issue is as well, right, is that most people have issues with their gallstones, right? Most people have gallstones. If a lot of the time, and one of the things that he goes through in the book as well, right, is that he shows that all of the people who have died and they've posthumously they've taken their gallbladders and their livers and they've dissected them and opened them up, and they are just fucking ram-packed,
riddled with them.
Riddled. Hey, look, let me just show you while I've got you.
Please do.
Where is it? Slide, share screen. I can just share this, I think. Is that opening up? Oh, it's not a very good picture, is it? But can you see that at all?
I can see, like...
Yeah. Maybe this one's
it's a little bit pixelated with all like sort of computerised.
They're not like they're not the best.
I can see that in the middle. I'll see if I can whack on that.
If I can make that a bit bigger. No, it's not.
Well, I appreciate it.
But in the book, right, there are like loads and loads of different pictures of dissected livers and dissected gallbladders, right?
Yeah.
One of the issues is that if you go to the NHS or anywhere else,
Which I've been.
9 times out of 10, as soon as you've got repetitive gallbladder issues, the thing that they want to do is take your gallbladder out.
Yeah, well, I ain't doing that.
Nah, you do not do that.
It's there for a reason.
Absolutely. And that's to say, is one of the things is as well, there might be people on the call who've had their gallbladder taken out, and that's not the end of the world either, right? That's not the end of the world, because you can
I
just
wouldn't believe it is, but what a lot of people don't seem to think, if you don't mind me saying on your platform.
No, go on.
Everyone talks about like fatty livers and this, that, and the other. What I've started to learn through research is your lymphatic system's got a lot to do with your liver.
Absolutely.
And if your lymphatic system's blocked, you'll end up getting a fatty liver.
Yeah.
Because whatever the liver does, it hasn't got the channels to disperse it and get it out. So most people have got a blocked lymphatic system and they don't tell you that.
Yeah, of course they don't.
And I believe I've got one because under my armpits got really fat.
Oh yeah.
And all
have you ever tried to do?
I'm 51-year-old man.
Oh yeah.
Okay? But I've just noticed certain things where I'm struggling and basically a loss of energy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know your testosterone levels go down, this, that, and the other, and all whatever, but not to the extent that I'm experiencing. So that's why I'm backwards and forwards. I've got that GERD, acid reflux.
Oh yeah.
I've got lots of different things going on.
Do you mind me asking what your diet's like, Melvin?
Not the best.
No.
And where I'm trying to cut out all meat.
Yep.
Because I'm not so sure it's decent meat and it's all processed and it's all full of you know what.
Yep.
Without saying it.
Yeah.
Type of guy to avoid the COVID jab like the plague, if you get my drift. Right. Any other vaccine, any injection, tooth, whatever. I'm that type of guy. But yeah, I'm just struggling. I'm trying to eat healthy, doing my best, trying to do a bit of exercises. I've heard that rebounding is probably one of the best things to get rid of your lymphatic system moving.
I was just going to say, right,
I'm on the fence of buying one.
Yeah, well, there's a guy that I follow on YouTube, and I don't particularly know too much about him, but he's got he's a guy called Jules Horn. Right. And he's got a 15-minute like lymphatic flow like movement that I've been doing every morning for the last.
Oh, you've been doing it, have you?
Yeah, sure. For the last 2 weeks, and I would say definitely my energy levels have spiked.
You have increased a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's my next little ding dong, mate. Because I've noticed a lot of fatigue and all the rest of it lately. Yeah, and I think it's something to do with it.
Do you know it stems from sort of Qigong and Tai Chi, right? And then the ancient Chinese called this movement. It was called the cure for 1,000 illnesses. That's what they call it.
Tai Chi, yeah.
And all it is just like the
movement.
Thing is, it's just movement, like
keeping your lymphatic system moving.
Yeah, we're not meant to sit still too often.
No, we're not.
You know, we're not designed for that.
Up to death.
I know. And we're sitting down for fucking 8 hours.
Apparently. But I'm not going to argue that case.
The guy's name just...
Are you ADHD, apparently? But
oh, you are?
Apparently, yeah.
That means you're hyper-intelligent.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Now, listen, we don't do self-deprecation here, Melvin.
Well, if you want to level with you, when I was about 13, a lot of problems growing up, yeah, like we all have. But when I done my IQ, I was 135 on the start of it, 117, and then 98 for me reading. So basically what they said, I was an expert in pattern recognition, which leads me to, apparently I was top 1%, make of that what you will.
Yeah.
But I had the total inability of articulating what I was feeling and experiencing.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was probably a little bit of a fucking issue, to be fair to you.
Yeah, same for me.
And I tried to learn that. I've done my best to be to be articulate. Probably not doing very well now. I struggle
you are.
to
You're
get my
doing
words
brilliant.
out.
You're doing brilliant.
Because I can't express what I feel.
What do you feel?
It's more emotions that people explain. I don't know the names for them. I feel things.
Oh, yeah.
And I get a feeling in my body. And I've started to get used to it. As crazy as that sounds.
Doesn't sound
that
crazy at all.
means one thing. That means another. That means another. I know what's bullshit. I know what's truth.
Yeah, well, like I said
and
earlier.
I know when my body's in trouble.
Yeah, well, we're antennas, aren't we?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I see it as like a radio, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't turn the bugger on. As soon as you turn it on, you do the dial, they're all them other things still going on, ain't they? But you're tuned into that.
That's right.
Well, I feel sometimes I'm tuned in. I've got a dodgy button, mate. Because I've got fucking 3 or 4 things going on sometimes. And
oh, mate, I know how
it
you
get
feel.
quite confusing.
Yeah, I know how you feel, mate.
I don't know if anyone knows what I'm on about, but I know I have to. I can't even tell you what I have to do.
Well, I mean, look, do you know, like, I don't know. No, the guy's name is Jules Horn. Yeah, Jules Horn. I'm just answering people in the chat. I've got a chat going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're cool.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, I don't know if you're aware, but we've got on a Thursday evening, we've got a space called Truth Works.
I wasn't aware of that, my friend, no.
And what that is really is that we sort of take we like one person comes up and they sit in what we've very loosely called the hot seat, and we have a conversation in a group setting, but it's just
if that's lukewarm, I'll have a go.
Yeah, and I have a conversation with that person, and we just go into a lot of like sort of stuff in more detail, because this space is sort of like designed really to sort of like inform people about what they can do with different health modalities,
yeah, and their
and
feedback,
sovereignty.
I'm guessing,
exactly,
so to speak, and then see where we go from there, perhaps.
I guess you get our newsletter, right?
I do, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at our
I've been ghost ever since you've been on, mate. It's the first time I've had the minerals actually talk.
Yes. Come on, good boy.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank you very much for coming up to talk, mate. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the advice.
And like
where
can
I find out about that liver? Get rid of these apparent things that might be in me.
Do you follow me on Telegram or Instagram?
I don't. I'm a man of not many.
Good man. I
don't really do things unless I have to.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just trying to think of. I could actually send you
for what I need, and then I'll just laugh it off.
If I tell you, this is what you need to do, right? If Neil or Hannah or anyone who's paying attention from my team, can you put my email address in the chat for us, please?
I'd really appreciate that, Danny. If you would, then I'll contact you.
Contact me, and I'll send you. I'll send you a load of stuff. I'll send you the PDF of the book and stuff as well. I would
really
personally
appreciate that.
No worries.
I'm getting proper bad pains underneath me right rib cage and all the rest of it.
Oh, so, mate, you.
I know I've got.
This will be brilliant for you.
Saying there's nothing there, and I hate to say it, I think it's absolute bullshit because I feel it.
Mate, I wouldn't trust those cunts as far as I could kick them.
As far as I can fucking throw them.
You know?
But there you go.
That's why we've got to create spaces like this. Do you know what I mean?
I know. So the first time I've opened my gob and put my picture on this.
I'm glad. I'm really glad.
All right, Danny. Well, listen, I'll let you go. I know you got your podcast, so thank you for hearing me out. I'll have a butcher's of that and we'll work things out from now. Nice one, brother. You take it easy. Right. All the best, mate. Tell her, mate. Thank you, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, brother. That's lovely, that, isn't it? Do you know, when we someone is feeling so, you know, like connected to us all, that they've got the courage to come up and have a conversation, right? That's what we want. Right? We want people to slowly start to sort of realise that this is a sacred place. This is a place of protection. This is a place where we come together and we help each other. And not once have I ever pretended to have any of your fucking answers, have I? Never. You know, I ain't got anyone's fucking answers. I've barely got my own. But what I am very good at, what I'm very, very good at, I've found, is
being able to offer a generalized, measured perspective on a lot of things that can empower us through health, through wealth, and through taking care of our earth, which are the three pillars of the Free Folk Project. So, yeah, look, like that goes to anyone, right? Like, I mean, I'm just like putting a fucking noose around my own neck, and but there's my email address. If anyone's got any questions, you know, what I might do is reply and say, listen, bring that question to another space, because if you have got a question now, you just need to put your hand up and I'll answer it, yeah, as best as I can. All right. But if you would like me to send you some stuff, I'm absolutely happy to do that as well, you know. So look, has anyone else would like to come up and have a chat? Anyone got any sort of ailments that they're struggling with? I know there was a lady said something in the chat about that she has got low blood pressure, so she would be concerned about enemas. I'm hypersensitive, and colonic cleanse will create low blood pressure for me. Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't. Hey, here she comes, found her. Hello, my love.
Hello. Thank you for receiving me.
That's all right.
And,
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just to say that I have suffered in the past with hypertension, and enemas, isn't something that I'm able to do, because it's just not good for my body. Because it's too quick, too fast. And so hence why I'm sort of thinking or considering maybe, because it isn't for everybody, is it, Danny? We all got different bodies, and I know my body quite well because I've lived with it for 66 years, and I'm very grateful to my body. And I look after it quite well too, My daughter does enemas all the time. My friend used to do them. However, I just wasn't something that was good for me. And I remember once going to a hospital and having something being looked at within. They chose to do something in that realm. And I just ended up collapsing, and, big problems happened because of the blood pressure went really, really low. So, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So, sometimes I just have to be aware that, whatever once is in me, that's it. I can't take it back out. So this liver cleanse sounds absolutely brilliant. I think, it's good. However, I do use turmeric and ginger and honey, and I use those, and black pepper, obviously. I use that on a weekly basis, and that does cleanse me. Well as stops inflammation, because obviously I suffer a lot from inflammation. So I use those, types of. Sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
My phone's losing energy. Yeah, so that's my sort of go-to. Really, is those.
Deanna, are you from Bristol?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Yeah. My mum and all my mum's family are all from Bristol.
Oh right, yeah.
From like Winterbourne, Patchway, Fish Ponds. Like there's various places.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I'm I now live in Keynsham, in the middle of Bristol in Bath.
Oh, lovely.
But yeah, it is a lovely environment.
Can I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Who said to you that you had that experience in hospital? But the reason I'm intrigued, right, is because whenever I do an enema, I've done colonics as well, right? And colonics, I can feel that, because that element of sort of like, you could say like a feeling of sort of like it's not a particularly nice feeling. No. I've found in an enema, and maybe it's because it's very autonomous, you're doing it yourself at home. There's an element for me that it feels incredibly calm.
No, I've had an enema as well in my years, and the same happened. I collapsed.
Right.
I collapsed in the toilet. I remember doing it when I was a young person. It's I don't know what it is. It's something in my system, we're all very different.
Of course we are. Of course. And what you said about I mean, everyone can take note from that because
Yeah.
like we've all got to feel in and resonate with what's right for us, right?
Yeah.
I would just be interested. I don't know. There's perhaps there's other types of colon cleanses
Yeah.
that you could do that maybe are not so invasive. Is the only thing that comes to mind. But that would be something you'd have to look in for yourself.
Yeah, I will do. I will look further into, because is that something that has to happen before the liver cleanse?
Yeah, well, the issue is that what happens is once we excrete the stones from the gallbladder and the liver, they go through our through our digestive system. Sorry, through our bowel.
Yes.
And intestines, and so what happens is the chance it gets stuck in the colon can be very very likely if the colon's not clean.
Yeah.
And so that can then it can exasperate sort of other issues.
I understand. However, I do take the turmeric and ginger and black pepper and garlics, and so that keeps my colon cleansed really, really well.
Yeah,
I do that at least 3 times a week. It's golden milk.
Oh yeah.
That really frequently, and that tends to help cleanse as well as the inflammation.
Have you ever heard of a thing called oxy powder?
No.
Oxy powder is another like colon cleanse sort of supplement. It's not really a supplement, but a medicine that we can use. And that's the directive of it, is that it's a colon cleanse.
Is it OXEY? Oxy?
Yeah, Oxy, OXY, OXY powder, Oxy powder, and normally it comes in little capsules, and you take a few of them, and I mean you get rid of everything within the next 24 hours. Yeah,
that might work better for me, you see, rather than having things inserted and stuff.
I understand. I totally understand, and I think this is the thing, right? Is that it's about what works for us, and I'm sure we're all sort of creative enough and diligent enough to figure that out.
Of course, we all know our bodies, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Diana. We got 10 more minutes. If anyone else did, I'm sure somebody just said that they're where is it? I'm sure someone said I'm too shy to speak at the moment. Right? Do you know that is like a red flag for me? Oh, sorry, a red flag to a ball. That is. Well, where are you? I'm gonna find you now. Gonna find you. I'm gonna fucking find you. Denise, where are you? Don't hide from me. Where are you? You're in here somewhere. Huh? I can't even find you. She left the call. That to me is come up and have a chat. Like what's to lose? What's to be scared of? Like one of the most interesting things I feel that we overcome in these spaces very often is that we have been conditioned and indoctrinated our entire lives to worry about how we're received externally by our peers. And that's something these spaces help break down, because we encourage people to come up and have a conversation, because I'm just a normal guy, right? Like I'm just an ordinary fella, like I don't claim to know or proclaim to know more than anyone or less than anyone. I'm just figuring out things as I go along. And that's worked really well for me thus far. So, like, if anyone is feeling like, do you know what, I'd actually like to say something, I've got something poignant I'd like to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. And if you don't, that's also cool as well, right? Because we're getting to the last few minutes of the call anyway tonight. So, look, let's wrap it up then, right? Let's summarise. So, I feel just from my explanation, from listening to a bit of Andreas Moritz, it's, to me, logically, and I base a hell of a lot of my life on my logic, and it's served me very, very well so far. It seems to me that in an age of where we're being polluted more than we know in lots of different areas of our modern day lives, to be able to offer our body something, to be able to clean the tool that cleans us, to clean the apparatus that is its responsibility is cleaning, To me, that just seems logical, you know? And like I said, like my email address is in the chat, and people can feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best. Hannah's just said you can also send an email to info@freefolk.co too, because she can help respond. I think what she's trying to say is that he won't get back to you because he's too busy, and she's doing it in a most considered way. But there is a little bit of truth to that, right? There is many people that ask, and they ask for my, they inquire about my, you know, they give me questions, they ask my advice on stuff. Funnily enough, just to go a little bit off topic, a little bit off piece, that's where the name Dear Danny came from, because I was always like an acting agony aunt in my circle of friends and in my family, that everyone wanted to ask my advice on something, or they always checked in like, do you think I should do this, or do you think I should do that? And I thought, well, you should just write me a letter and I'll get back to you. So yeah, I mean, look, I'll do my best to. And also what I would say, right, this is what this space is for. Yeah, this space is designed for people to come up and ask a question. It could be about anything. You could be sitting there one day and you could have a little bit of a question that you would like to ask me on a personal level, or a geopolitical level, or a world affairs level, about anything. It doesn't matter. It could be considered really superficial or whatever. It doesn't matter. Any question's as good as the other. Yeah, none of it is lesser or more than. It's just very neutral, and that's what this space intends to be. Now, I want to say something, right? And I don't want to offend anyone. Yeah, all right. Everyone's offended now already, aren't they? Just because I said that sentence. That is the precursor to pissing everyone off. But I'm going to say it, right? I spoke on our first MYGA when we relaunched a few weeks ago. I think this is week 5 this week. So on our first one, I explained that in the background, we are building a membership package, right? Now, the reason we've done that is because we've tried our best to be able to place ourselves as, and, you know, operate as a company or an organization that is solely on donations. Now, because we don't receive many donations, and just to say again to the people who do make donations, we are very, very grateful, and honestly, it really goes a long way to helping us with, you know, the operating costs, the staffing costs, and then whatever else, you know. No, we're not going to do PayPal, man. You need to look into PayPal, who owns them. I can't do that, I'm afraid. I'd rather not have your money. And I know that sounds terrible, but yeah, you can write to us if you really need to do PayPal, and we can figure out how you can send a carrier pigeon with a $5 strapped to his fucking ankle, and I'll shoot the bastard down, eat it, and then I get the $5 as well, and everyone's a winner, apart from the pigeon. So we've done our best, and I mean this, right? Like, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, right? We have done our best to maintain our donation-based model, and it doesn't work for us at this current time, right? I'll give you an example. Last week, we had over 50 people on a call for the duration of the call, right? Now, based on my logic, I would say that's 50 people who have stuck around because and turned up in the first place on a Sunday evening because they value my content. They value what our project is doing. They value our transmission. So if that is not reciprocally met, then there's an imbalance, right? There's an ecological imbalance. And that's what we're feeling now. And that's not like, I'm not judging you. I'm not criticizing you. I know that everyone's in different places financially. I fucking get it, right? I've come from grassroots, council estate, fucking impoverished lifestyle myself, yeah, and I've had it all and I've lost it all again. None of it, like, the money side to me doesn't really matter. I couldn't give a fuck about it, you know. If I had all the money in the world, I'd give it away, you know. I really would. But we do genuinely have operating costs that run into thousands of pounds a year. This is a full-time job for me. You might only see me on here once an evening, on a Sunday evening, but my workload that's going on behind the scenes, it never stops. So this is one of the ways that I survive myself as well, right? It's not that there's an imbalance. We can't have such I mean, if I was to read the testimonials I've received over the years since I've been doing this, which is coming up to 6 years now, I have had thousands of testimonials of people telling me I've saved their lives for various reasons, because I was a voice quite prominently during the pandemic that didn't just advise people, screamed at people not to have a vaccination, absolutely screamed at them over and over again. Yeah. I've got testimonials from hundreds to thousands of people telling me that I saved their life in that situation. And I'm still here and I'm still doing it. Right? And I do it because I fucking love you all. I love our world. I genuinely care deeply about our world. I really do. And the people in it. And I believe, and you might agree with me, this is my calling. I'm fucking good at this. You know, I am. If you need to be fucking kicked up the arse by someone who cares about you, I'm the man for the fucking job. I empower people, I support people, and now we've got a project that informs people. But currently, we're not being able to meet that balance. And so if you have got the facility, if you have got the function in your life financially, then there are ways, and I'm going to just send that message because... There you go. If you'd like to make a donation, that's how you do it in the chat. And if you struggle with that, or you only use PayPal or something, you can get in touch with us, and I'm sure we can creatively figure out ways that you can give us all your fucking money. You know what the funny thing is, right? Is that like I said, I don't care about money, but it's fucking useful. It's really I could do so much more if you knew the things that we've got in store in our project. Yeah, this is not just it. We're not going to stop here. We've got our own news show that we're trying to get together. We've got a children's book that's coming out in the next few months and a children's animation that follows. Because we know that if we really want to change the world, then changing us old bastards, all right, is one thing. Positively manipulating the next generation with positive propaganda, all right, is the way that we're going to influence the next generation's leaders. Yeah, we know this. We've got loads of other things that we want to bring out. But one of the things is that we're always got one eye over here trying to make money back in the matrix. Sometimes I have to go back into the film industry. And when I have to do that, like I just spend days walking around on set wanting to chin everyone. Like legitimately. The last time I was there, I had to be pulled away from someone. All right, it's really like it gets me. It's really, really not healthy. And then I take my eye off of this. And that should never happen because this is much more important. But I've got 3 mouths to feed. I've got three backs to clothe. I've got an incredibly high maintenance wife who likes to only dine at Michelin star restaurants and wear Gucci and Prada. Bless her, you should see her. Fucking see the state of her shoes. I've glued them together about 6 times. But that's the kind of people we are, right? Like, not because like we're like, oh, I had to glue my shoes together. It's because I feel like, well, they'll still fucking last. I got pants older than my kids, right? And that's not because I'm like, do you know what? I'm poor. It's just because I'm like, they're still working. My bollocks ain't hanging out of them yet. When I've got no bollocks supporting my pants, then I'll start talking to people about I need a new pants fund. But currently, there's no need to do any of that. So there's just another thing to say as well, right? Is that any donations that we receive, yeah, not just myself, but the entire team, and some of them are on the call tonight, like we're people that I am so considered about where I spend my money. I fucking hate spending money on Zoom. I really hate it, yeah, because I don't like Zoom at all. But I'm also very aware that there is not a platform I've managed to find, and I'm quite a diligent young man. I have not found a platform that is got the same functionality as Zoom as of yet. When that platform arises and it's decentralized and it's not using AI and it's not owned by all those slags, then I'll use it. But for right now, it's much more the balance for me is that, look, I need to have a call that is functioning. I need to be able to make sure all of this facility is easy for me to use and easy for user interface for all of you lot. This is it. But everything in our lives we question. Like, I'm like, do I really? No, I'm not spending money on that. I haven't paid for a sporting event in the last 10, 12 years. I just watch everything now for free. I haven't paid for a movie in 12 years. I find ways to watch it all for free and I don't give a fuck. I'm not paying them bastards. Yes, it's piracy, and fucking long may it continue. So what I'm saying is that we are an organisation that is incredibly considered. We have integrity is at the highest regard of our transmission and our daily lives. So, like, if anyone does think about where their money's going, it's going to our lifestyle, and our lifestyle is always supporting local shops, local businesses, local farmers. You know, I've got like Hannah will tell you, I've got clothes, right, that are 25 years old, and I refuse to throw them away. I done a call with the team once, right, and they all of them went, Jesus Christ, he needs new t-shirts. I had all holes in my t-shirts. Like, listen, it's still a fucking t-shirt, all right? It still defines itself and identifies itself as a t-shirt for now. And when it's not a t-shirt anymore, it's going to become a rag. And then when it's not a rag anymore, I'll use it in the shed to clean my tools. You know, like, we're never throwing things away. They've always got a use. But what I'll say, right, is on a serious note, yeah, we are in the background figuring out our membership because, like, it's going to be a minimum of £5 a month, right? And to me, that £5 a month works out, it computes at 17 pence or 17 cents a day, yeah? Just at the moment, before all of the other offerings that we've got come forefront to the project, we already weekly, we offer so much value for that 17 pence a day, for that, whatever it is, £1.25 a week. You know, that's like £1.25 a week. You couldn't even buy a bag of fucking crisps for that now, you know? And I know that my value is a bag of crisps, if not more. So if you can, the links are in the chat. If you can't see the chat for any reason, you can go to our website. You know our website by now, I'm sure. And up in the top right corner, there's a button that says support. And I mean, that button's going to stay there forever. But again, like I say, eventually we're going to migrate into a membership in the next few months. And to me, I can't be bothered with all of the ins and outs of how that's going to look. I'm just going to say, this is our membership and this is all of our content, and you can have it all exclusively. That's it. And I know some people might go, well, do you know what? I haven't got a £5 a month. Then I'm going to say, okay, get in touch with me. Let's go through all of your monthly outgoings together. And if truly you haven't got a £5 a month, then I'll give it to you for free. But a load of people in the past, for me, of what's happened in my events and stuff, and, you know, this is all done by my own metrics. I've been monitoring this stuff for the last 5 years. I'm able to see what's going on. Many, many times what happens is people say they haven't got any money, and then you see them at a live event and they're standing at the bar knocking back pints. So the pint is a lot more important to them and a lot more valuable to them than my time. There's many people out there who will say they can't afford certain things, but, you know, it turns out that they've got Netflix or they smoke cigarettes. And listen, that's on you. I don't give a fuck what you do with your money, but you can't say to me that you can't afford a £5 a month when all these other things are going on in your life, right? I can't be expected to give my time for free anymore. It's just not working. It's not computing anymore, you know? And I'm getting a little bit too old in the tooth to put the balaclava back on. It's not happening. So, anyway, thank you very much for this very bouncy, lively discussion about an incredible, monumental opportunity to take care of our own health, become our own doctors, choose autonomy over the corrupt system that just wants us completely and utterly reliant on Big Pharma and its drug peddling whores in your local GP's office. What I would say is even if the liver flush doesn't feel like it is right for you now, there's many other healing modalities that we're going to be discussing further down the road. Loads of stuff. You know, like I'm going to do a deep dive into fasting and why that's so important in the next, I don't know, weeks or month. Urine therapy as well. And anyone who comes to that call, everyone's got to prepare a glass of urine, right, before you join the call, and then we're all going to collectively drink our urine together. No, I'm only joking. I wouldn't do that to you. But there's so many different angles, right? And we're fortunate enough that not just myself, but many people in our network are very, very experienced in these things, and they're very happy and readily wanting to share a lot of their experiences. And that's how we remember, isn't it? That's how we unlearn, is when we go back to the people that we can trust, the people that we can see, the people we know that are not financially compromised, which everyone is in the medical institute. Every single fucking person is financially compromised. As soon as there's money involved, there's a big fucking issue. And that's the problem with governments, with lobbyists, with celebrities, with messaging, media, programming. It's been financially compromised. Everyone's a whore. Everyone's for sale. Which is one of the reasons that I struggle, because I refuse, even though I've had an account of 60,000 people on Instagram, and I'm asked every week, would you like to monetize that with our advertisers? I tell them to fuck off. I'm not interested. I'm not going to sell my soul to something I don't support, I don't believe in. And if that means that I've got to eat fucking olives and oranges off the tree, then I'm all right to do that. Fuck them, is what I say. I told you all during the pandemic, if it comes to it, I'm just going to eat dandelions, mate. You know, I'm just going to walk around eating fucking dandelions and be like, fuck you lot. Turn into a great big dandelion and just go after all of them. Right, on that note, I think we've reached hysteria. It's probably time to take a break. Thank you for coming along to our little MYGA space. It is really, really beautiful to realise we are actually realising community in real time. I understand better than most people the barrier sometimes that it feels that we have when we're interfacing through these devices. But we can use them positively. We can transmute these devices. We can transmute these platforms. We're powerful more than we even realise. So if you have got any concerns about that, I appreciate you for putting them to one side just to join our space, because it's gratefully received, and we really do enjoy putting these spaces on for people and watching people become more empowered, more informed, and realising that there's a hell of a lot of support out there. All right, people. Much love to you all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you next week. Ta-da!